The city of Ocean Springs is a very special place. It's eclectic, it's artistic, it's small, but it's got a worldly feel to it.
Ocean Springs does not have a lot of large corporate businesses. Really the lifeblood of the city is its small business.
Retail, lodging, restaurants, all of those are extremely important to our economy.
I don't think Ocean Springs would be the Ocean Springs that it is without the small businesses.
A disaster can be anything on any given day. For one person, a disaster may be we don't have internet for 2 days and we can't conduct business. It might be there's some rising waters and some roads are blocked off for a short period of time. Or you could have Katrina where everything happens at one time and everybody is affected.
Right after Katrina, there were not a lot of places open and supplies were very hard to come by. The aftermath was very devastating. Your whole life just being torn apart.
We lost all of our patient files. We were out of electricity for weeks. We had patients couldn't get their prescriptions, people who were displaced. We're a small business, but haven't really thought of anything since. You know, haven't had any problems, haven't had any disasters. So it's something we need to think about again.
As a business owner, I strongly feel that every business plays a role in the community in which it exists and serves.
Small businesses make up about 90% of all businesses in coastal Alabama and employ over 105,000 people, and the state's number of small businesses continues to grow. To maintain this trend, business owners need to know about and prepare for potential threats from disasters that could impact our livelihoods and economies. The longer a business is closed after a disaster, the less likely it is that they will reopen. And coastal Alabama is especially vulnerable. In addition to commonplace risks that could cause closures or service interruptions, like electricity outages and theft, coastal Alabama's small businesses also face storm-related hazards. According to FEMA research, 40 to 60% of local businesses have failed following a disaster. Small businesses are at a higher risk to natural hazards, with fewer resources to rely on and a smaller support network than large corporations. These risks can change. Coastal Alabama's development has increased by 26% since the early 2000s. Changes in development patterns, increased number of buildings, and more paved surfaces will change the way water moves through our communities, putting businesses at risk to flooding in areas that haven't previously flooded. Compounding these changes, sea levels in Alabama have risen 8.5 inches over the last 51 years, amplifying storm surge, causing more frequent tidal flooding, and reducing stormwater drainage.
The landscape has changed significantly. So drainage patterns are different. Even wind patterns, because of new buildings and other things, are going to be different than it was in Katrina.
What we found is when we have conversations with businesses and you start that, it takes about a good 20-30 minutes to really start peeling back the layers of how they do business before they start thinking, you know, I really should write this down.
Once they do that, they find so much value, in some cases day-to-day operations, but in many cases not necessarily huge events, but a day-to-day technical issue that comes up or a workforce issue.
We have the businesses go through an exercise of determining what types of events may actually impact their business.
On an individual and really an emotional level, is not just for the business, but the people involved in these small businesses take a hard look at themselves and their resiliency and find ways just to live in a more resilient fashion day to day.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
The importance of a continuity plan really comes in how it's developed. What we've done and what businesses that I've spoken to have done is actually found opportunities to leverage their abilities with other local businesses. So developing those partnerships and having those in place before an event, the more you come together as a community. The development of a continuity plan is not a plan that sits on the shelf and has a pretty binder and you can say, yes, we've planned for it. It is a living document. Just the peace of mind and the emotional benefits that you get from knowing when you hear that report that there's an impending storm coming or some sort of disaster, that you're ready.